Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. This is Tony Moore of Boss Up Radio. Just wanted to come in and have a conversation with you, just to have a word with you. Not too long, not too short, just to inspire you, a word to empower you, and a word, more importantly, to remind you that you have every single thing you need to make your life more beautiful. Do you believe that? Hey, how you doing, Ada? How are you? How are you? How are you? Thank you for joining. I woke up this morning and I know that I had tons of information, but I woke up this morning and I went back and listened to uh, Dr. Juanita Bynum, just pieces of what she had talked about. And I was just like, wow, this is so amazing. It's so amazing that when we are aligned with the divine, we actually have common sense about who God is, common sense about who Jesus was, is, common sense about what the Holy Spirit can do for us, and more importantly, common sense about the what we believe that the devil keeps us from doing, and not realizing that. Just like much like I've learned in the Jewish synagogue, it's more about the introspection within, because ultimately the biggest battles are within you because the greater is within you. So the question is always like, what do I want? Where am I going? How am I affecting people? How am I affecting change? How am I making my voice, my vision, my values, and my vocation matter? So when I was listening to her, I was like, oh my God, I've been saying it all along. But because I'm not collared, most of my friends and family who are in the church atmosphere don't appreciate it. They don't appreciate that we've been cultivated and we've been taught the wrong way, that there is some being out there that is keeping us from our peace, joy, and happiness. But when we talk like that, we're pretty much saying that this being out there is bigger than God. This being out there is bigger than our hopes and our dreams. This being out there is bigger than the plans and the purpose and the provisions for us. I always think about Jeremiah 33:3, where he pretty much says that, hey, you ask me of anything and I will give it to you. So I'm always like, how is it that we get stuck? How is it that we get shut down? How is it that we live like doormats and we're just lying here watching and waiting, being stepped on and stepped over and stepped upon, and then someone steps us aside and replaces us? How is it that we're so awesome in all of our ways? We have skills, we have talents, we have abilities, but yet we find ourselves congratulating more than we're celebrating our own success. And even in certain atmosphere, if I talk about success, I get demonized. And I'm like, wait. If we're blessed and highly favored, if we're supposed to be the head and not the tail, if we're supposed to be lenders and not borrowers, if we're supposed to live above and not beneath, then why is it that y'all okay with playing small? Why is it okay that you just use all your power to hikama and jump and shout, and then you wait for someone to give you permission? How is that? Hey, Kamari, how are you? How is that? How is it? Because we was taught wrong. That's how. Because I meet some people and they're like, oh, yeah, this is such and such, and she's the most high of the most high. But then, outside of the church wall, she's meek and lowly. And to the point where you can't even recognize the God in her, to the point where she barely recognizes the God in her until she puts on her archetype and she puts on her warrior praise. And then all of a sudden, she has something. But this is what I know is that power, that greatness, that assertiveness, that ability to overcome the obstacles and articulate greater and bigger things and to manifest bigger and better things, that's already inside of you. Unfortunately, sometimes it lies dormant because we don't activate it, you know? And instead of just doing something better for ourselves, we just watch and we wait because that was how we was cultivated. I mean, really, that's how our ancestors in slavery was cultivated, because before they were diminished to slaves, and where they had to shuck and jive, and where they had to serve other people, and where they had to get in and fit in, and where they had to allow their brilliance to be raped, they were great warriors. They were already manifesting, but it was snatched from them. It was beaten out of them. It was relegated to something, so much so that the weakness and the victimhood and the woundology was passed down to us, as opposed to allowing us to remember that we are God's children. We do have gifts. We do have talents. We do have abilities. We do have a word within our soul. We do have power. We have the greater is within us. The treasures is within us. We got the power to snatch down pieces of heaven to manifest greater things. Today I was talking about how the topic is how I made it to I manifested it. I made it to I manifested it. I made it to I manifested. I was listening to Ty Tribbett's song. I made it. Like I made it. Oh God, I made it. I can't believe I made it. I made it. The devil was beating me up and people was talking about me and my job wouldn't give me the opportunity and I didn't get the raise and I barely got it out of bankruptcy and I made it. I made it. Like we celebrating that. It's not about made it. It's about manifesting it. Because when you know that the Most High God, you've been created by the Creator to create bigger and better and more, created by the Creator to be the change that He called you to be, created by the Creator to do greater things in every aspect of your life. Not just on Sunday, not just when you hikam shine, not just when you behind the mic, but when you are walking on purpose, in purpose, with the greatness of God exuding inside of you. It's not about made it. Because by you saying made it, it's more like, oh my God, I can't believe I made it. Oh my God, I was hurt. I was shut down. Oh my God, I just need to get to the next level. Oh my God, barely, as opposed to walking boldly as you are. See, that's what God wants us to do. It's to walk boldly. I'm writing this book, right? And I didn't realize that this book wants to be birthed out of me. I didn't realize it, but I've been talking about this for a while. And if you go back to all of the Boss Up radios, essentially what I'm trying to get you to do is to reset your presets. To reset your presets for from 2002 until recently 2018. I worked in children's ministry. I loved working in children's ministry because the children, they if they can't sing, they want to sing. Nobody's stopping them. If someone's crying, they want to give something. If somebody did something to them, they forgive. They don't have the wherewithal that they're limited. That's why I like working in children's ministry because it doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter if they're fat, if they're dark, if they have nappy hair or silky hair. It doesn't matter any of that stuff, right? They're just like, this is who I am. Hey, you want to be my friend? Hey, what did God say? Oh, I have these big dreams and I have these goals, and when I grow up, I'm going to be on top of the world and all that stuff. As children, even the Bible says that to get to heaven, we got to come as children. And what I'm realizing, gleaning from that, is that as children, we're not thinking about the trickeries of the enemy. We're not thinking about who's celebrating us, who's tolerating us. We're not thinking about who's using us as doormats. We just walk in. Oh, I want to be the leader. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to serve. Oh, I want to, as opposed to watching and waiting and seeing who's going to be next. Watching and waiting and looking at who's going to get celebrated. Watching and waiting and just wondering when your turn is going to come. Most of these children in children's ministry, they just jump right into it. Even when I look at the kindergartens, they just jump right into it. When I look at the first graders, they jump right into it. Or if they don't want it, they say no. Yes, no, maybe so. Even the babies, if they don't want you, they'll nod your head like, nah, I don't want to be bothered with you. And I even had a friend, and her daughter is a redhead, bossy little baby girl. She's very affirmed. She knows what she wants. She knows who she is. She knows what's hers. She's the baby out of three. Her sisters are twins, identical twins, and she showed up, look like 4 years later, looking like they're triplet, even though she's 4 years later than them, right? She might be three, but she's, as soon as she got to kindergarten, the teachers tried to shut her down. They start telling on her, calling her parents, like she's not doing this and she's not sitting down and she's not being quiet and she's not doing this and she's not doing that. And the mom talked to me about it. And I said, please, please, please don't let the teacher put her little thumb on her big spirit. I know that there's rules and regulations, but I also know that God has already created us. He's created us to be great. He's created us to be resourceful. He's created us to have expectations and dreams and goals. And he's created us to want to get in and step in and do something. He's created us to want to make change. But when we allow people to speak, little people with little voices, to speak on us and over us, then we get shut down. We get shut down when we end up with the wrong people in our lives because we just want to get in and fit in. We get shut down when we end up marrying or dating or allowing someone into our big, beautiful spirit, what we call our comfort zone. And then he leaves us for someone younger or prettier, smarter, or maybe our best friend or our girlfriend. Then we get shut down. We mute our voices. We stop speaking up. We get shut down. I was looking at a picture of my mom, years ago, my biological mom. And, this is after she passed away. She was like about 16 or 17 before she got pregnant with my older sister, because she got pregnant at 17 and she had her at 18. And before she got pregnant with me, and she had me like right after that, she was bold and she was going to be a singer and she had goals and the fire in her eyes. But then she got shut down. She ended up with the wrong men. She ended up on the wrong side of the offering table because before she was a singer and she was singing in God's house and people understood and recognized the anointing. But then when she had a baby, she was a preacher's kid and had a baby out of wedlock, she got shut down. She lost herself. She didn't know who she was. People shut her down. And then when she got shut down and her baby was taken away to be raised by family members, she started looking for something else to fill that hole. She got shut down. But here's the thing is that what she didn't know was that it doesn't matter. Our mistakes don't define us. Our mistakes don't dictate our destiny. What we do after we get shut down, that's the thing that changes things. That's the thing that makes us get on our knees. That's the thing that makes us fall apart. Like I never saw the fire in my mom's eyes. I never saw it because by the time I showed up, she was shut down. Even when we would always battle because I wasn't shut down. I refused to get shut down. I was like, this is what we can do. We don't have to live like this. We don't have to be in the projects. We don't have to be relegated to the black sheep of the family. We don't have to be the kids on the other side of the block. We don't have to live as victims in the shelters. We don't have to get shut down because someone shut you down. And she tried to shut me down. She did everything in her power to shut me down. And then what I realized when we was talking was that when we got a little older, much older, we had a conversation about how she tried to shut me down because she got shut down. So she learned that when you're bold and when you're beautiful and when you're brave and when you speak your words and you don't care about who says and who don't, you just walk forth and you're just like, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. Then people will try to shut you down. So she tried to protect me as her mama tried to protect her, as grandmama's mama tried to protect her, because that's what they learned in slavery. That when you're bold and you're beautiful and when you're brave and you won't get broken, you get shut down. But this is the Lord's day. We have to learn from their mistakes. We got to learn from what they went through and understand and appreciate that, like mama said, closer to the end of her life, she was like, I only did it because that's what I learned to do. But if I could do it all over again, daughter, if I could do it all over again, I would have did differently. This is my thing. I didn't hear her then. I heard her a few years later. When I start doing what she started doing, when I start watching and waiting as she started watching and waiting, when I start deferring my hopes and dreams as she deferred her hopes and dreams, and when I start waiting for the perfect man in the perfect time, just like mama did, and then when I started to respond and react to my children because I was frustrated as I learned how to do. But see, this time I heard mama's words. And she said, daughter, if I could have did it all over again, I would have did differently. And I got a chance. This is my start. Why was I going to start my start with her failures that she told me looking back over her life if she could do it all over again? When she got shut down, she could have did it all over again. She would have took my older sister and said, 2 tears in a bucket. I'm going to do this. She could have did it all over again. She wouldn't have hooked up with the other guy because she realized that he didn't love her. If she would have did it all over again, she wouldn't have tricked up some other guy because she was trying to appease and to please other people. And she could have did it all over again. She wouldn't have been with some abusive man. But here's the thing is that we can't change the changes that happen to us. We can only respond as opposed to react. So when I hear people sing, I made it, like, like this is like, I made it, like my God told me that I'm already blessed and highly favored. He's already told me that the victory is mine. He's already told me that whatever I ask for in his son's name, I got it. He's already told me that my words matter. He's already told me that I matter. So that's why we got to reset our presets. We got to reset our presets. We got to reset our presets. We got to understand that we already are who God wants us to be. You don't need permission. You don't need permission to be who God wants you to be, because he's already said, let your light shine. Let your light shine. Your shine is divine. Your decisions are divine. As I tell people all the time, decisions are divine because you are giving your greatness a chance. You're giving your dreams a chance. You're saying yes, no, maybe so. You're not sitting there as a doormat saying, oh, you can just step on me. You can just use me. You can just abuse me. You can just spill whatever on me. I'll just absorb it all. I won't complain. People say, I won't complain. But you need to complain. If someone is not respecting the God inside of you, if someone is not appreciating the God inside of you, then you need to do what God told you to do. Pick yourself up. Stop being the mat and start being the door. Stop being the mat, because you was more than enough to be the door. The door, the designer. He said that we are the door. We're designer of our opportunities and our resources. We are the door. We are the door. Yes, Tina said 90% of our lives is how we respond. But the sad thing about it is, if we've been responded, if we've been cultivated to sit down and shut up as little children, if we've been cultivated to be seen and not heard as children, if we've been cultivated that our skin color don't matter, we've been cultivated that our dreams don't matter, we've been cultivated to understand that the curiosity killed the cat, then our response have been fostered by somebody else. And what I want you to understand is that my God did not make you to be nobody's doormat. He did not make you to be someone's victim. He did not make you to be someone's, get in and fit in chick. He did not make you to be some bag holder. He did not make you to be the adjutant, but the aggravator. That's what you need to understand, is that this is the day that the Lord has made. He wants your soul to be satisfied in it. And if your soul ain't satisfied, then you need to be still and know. If the negativity in your voice, you hear more negativity than positivity, then you need to be still and know. You got to ask yourself, what is my frequency? What is my frequency? If all you hear is negativity, then you need to change the channel. You need to reset your presets. And when I think about it, if we're fearfully and wonderfully made by a creator, then just like anything else that's made, there is a button that you need to push. You need to push that button and get to the point where God created you. In the beginning, he created you to be great. In the beginning, he breathed his greatness inside of you, and he left you as great. He loved you and he personified you, and he's giving you purpose, and he's giving you passion. He's giving you goals, and he's giving you a path to take. So despite how other people have trained you, despite how you've been cultivated, despite what you have learned to do, you're going to have to push that button. You're going to have to push the button. You got to reset your presets. You got to understand that if the life that you live in ain't the life that you love in, then that's not where you need to be. You need to take a leap of faith and go somewhere else. You need to spread your creative wings and go somewhere else. You need to imagine greater things and go somewhere else. You got to ask God to give you your curiosity back. Ask God to give you your faith back. Ask God to give you your bravery back. Ask God to give you your eyes that see only him back. Ask God to let you see what you need to see and hear what you need to hear back. You need to reset your presets. You need to reset your presets. If it's okay to just hikamasha on Sunday and run around and have that emotional, beautiful experience on Sunday, but then the rest of your life on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you feeling stuck, and on Saturday you're like busy doing other things and appeasing other people, and then on Sunday you're like, whew, it's well with my soul. It ain't well with your soul, because your soul is supposed to live, love, and know that, everything, wherever you are, from the north to the east to the south to the west, he's already given it to you. He's already given you the plans and the goals and the purpose, but you have to get out of mediocrity, because in the sea of sameness, you're not going to be seen. You're going to have to part the seas, just like when God had to free the Israelites from Egypt, he had to part the seas. So when you have to free yourself from the negativity and free yourself from family members and free yourself from the workplace and free yourself from the cliques and the pulpits, then you're going to have to reset your presets. You're going to have to know that there's something greater for you. The greatness inside of you, if it's not satisfied, if it's not well with your soul, then you need to MoveOn.com. If it's not well with your soul, then you need to seek and see what else can be. If it's not well with your soul, you're going to have to take a leap of faith. Because at the end of the day, it's not what other people say. At the end of the day, it's not about them. It's all about him who sees you. He knows you. He resides in you. His energy is, he wants to go through all aspects of you. That's why he's let your light shine. Let your love shine. Let your insight shine. Let your giftedness shine. Let your helpfulness shine. Let your truth shine, the testimony inside of you, so that the people who are assigned to you, the people who are sleepwalking around you, the people who are complaining in the chapel, that they can know that God sees us and knows us, that he ain't never left us. If you can, I want you to reset your presets. If you can, I want you to stop thinking about the negativity. If you can, I want you to change your word to change your worlds. If you can, I want you to appreciate that thoughts are things. That's why even the old school used to be like, girl, you better watch what you're thinking. You got to watch what you're thinking. Even Joyce Meyer said you got to watch that thinking, because it knows that thoughts are things. So if you're thinking it, you eventually will manifest it. The thoughts become manifestations in the thoughts, in the words that you speak. And what you get is what you focus on. That's why you got to reset your presets. I had to reset my presets. I had been so victimized, as being molested as a child and couldn't say anything, and nobody was shielding and protecting me from people who shouldn't have been touching me. And then when I went to University of Penn, it was 3 guys who decided that they was going to do anything and everything, even though I said no. And so I didn't want to be the victim. So I was like, okay, if this is going to keep happening, I'm just going to open myself up and be a receiver. That way I don't have to worry about someone disrespecting me. So I had to, but then I didn't like it. I hated it. I hated who I had become, so much so that I didn't even like looking at mirrors, so much so that every time I saw myself, I was a shriveled up old woman. Or every time I saw myself, I just was like, I wish I could die. I got to the point where even when I was with this drug dealer, he let me go because I had potential. I didn't see potential. I saw the poison that I had put myself through. I started building a hell around me by the words and the stuff that was consuming and the stuff that I was receiving and the stuff that I was involved in. God had to knock me out in my sleep and push the button to reset my presets. You're going to have to push that button. You're going to have to push that button, because negative people will always be negative people. Broken people will always be broken people. But I do know, just watching children, and when I was doing youth ministry, they had something inside of them. They weren't negative, and I learned that they had to get cultivated. I learned that they were taught. They see it, and then they were taught it. Even though we say, "Oh, we want our kids to be great," they were taught it based on how we snatched them. They was taught it based on how we drag them up. They was taught it because no one cultivated them. They was taught it because no one's asking them plans and purpose. No one's asking them, what you going to do with the greatness inside of you? If you find that you were just watching and waiting, if you find that the life you're living is not the life you're loving, then I want you to find a moment to ask God to reset your presets. Realize that you are not stuck where you are. Realize that you don't have to make it. I made it. The devil was beating me up. I made it. People was lying and cheating on me, but I made it. Sickness and disease. I made it. No, trials and tribulation. My God told me that he's bigger than the triggers. So regardless of the trials and the tribulations, the testimony is still supposed to be the same. Girl, they tried to drop me, but guess what? They couldn't stop me. That's where you have to be. Girl, I didn't know where I was going to be, but for the grace of God. That's the testimony that you need to hear. You need to talk to yourself. You need to speak to yourself. You need to embolden yourself. Yes, you need to pick yourself up, turn yourself around, place your feet on solid ground, because the God in you sees you and knows you. The God in you will help you to heal yourself. Louise Hay said we can heal ourselves. That ain't nothing new. We can heal ourselves. We can touch and agree with the Most High God that we are not destroyed and that we're not distraught and that we are everything that he purposed us to be, because we can heal ourselves. The question is, will you allow yourself to be yourself? Will you allow yourself to be your best self? Will you allow yourself to be your blowed self? Will you allow yourself to be your blessed self? Will you allow yourself to be the woman of your dreams? Will you allow yourself? Will you allow yourself to pick yourself up? Will you allow yourself to be more resilient? You got to reset the presets. It's already inside of you. That dream, that purpose, that goal, it's already inside of you. That vision, it's already inside of you. The vision, God gives the provision for the vision, but you got to walk into it to see it. I remember when I wanted to be a speaker. It was kind of funny for some people because, in 2002, when I raised my hand and I was like, I want to speak before the church. I want to do children's ministry. I want to help people. My husband was like, are you sure? Because you got to talk in front of people. I was like, yeah, I can do it. And he was like, are you sure? A whole bunch of people going to look at you. Yeah, I can do it. Are you sure? Because you ain't never do that before. And I said, yeah, I want to do it. Because I didn't want to do it to show up and show out. I was already a lawyer by there. I was already an attorney by then. I was already sitting kneecap to kneecap, looking at people who was going through divorce and looking at people who needed a protection from abuse order and looking at people who was going through bankruptcy and looking at people who realized that they couldn't protect their house because they had abused the bankruptcy code and looking at people who wanted to start a business with a hope, dream, and a prayer. I've already been there, and I realized that these grown people was little children that didn't get a chance to be who God said that they were. So I figured if I could just start afresh and go back to the children, maybe I could talk to them because children, their creativity is contagious. Children, they ain't caring about being seen or heard. They just want to be used. They just want to manifest something. They just want to walk into it. So I said, yeah, I want to do it. So I did it. I started doing it because I didn't want the kids to be like I was, where I had my prodigal experience. I didn't want the kids to go through what I had gone through because the God that I was taught, well, he was mean and he was going to beat me and he was going to send me to hell and he didn't like bad children and he wouldn't love on bad children and he only favored good children who looked like good pastors and who looked like good first ladies. I wanted them to know that even when we mess up, our mess up God won't give us up because of our mess up. I needed them to let them know that there was greatness. I needed to walk them through the Bible in their own special way. I needed to talk to them. I needed to walk with them. And in the meantime, I was blessing the grown folks because they too needed to know that God don't, it's not about the age, it's not about the size, it's not about your zip code, it's not about anything. It's about having a willing heart, to be a willing spirit, to let your light shine, to let your love shine, to let your insight shine, to let your greatness shine, to let your helpfulness shine, to let your truth shine. Regardless of who's trying to stop you, regardless of who won't use you, regardless of who won't celebrate you, it's not about them, because once you get to where you're supposed to be, when you align with the divine, you realize it's all about him. He just needs to use you. He needs an arm. He needs a voice. He needs a vision for the provision. He needs somebody to walk like him and talk like him and circle people and help people relearn some things and unlearn some things. Because I had learned that it didn't matter. I was broke, busted, and disgusted. I had messed up so much so, and I had to, Tina, I had to turn that mess that I was into a message that God loves us anyway. That we don't have to run just because there's tradition, because traditional people have been cultivated to think that everything that they do matters. It's not what you do matters, what you do for him matters. When you reset your stuff from the lust to the love, when you reset your stuff from the fear to the faith, when you reset yourself from a doubter to a doer, oh my God, what a day of rejoicing that would be. That's when it will be well with your soul. That's when it will be well with your soul. That's when it will be well with your soul. So this is the day that the Lord has made. I know it's hard. Been there, done that, got several t-shirts. I know people play with you. Been there, done that, got several t-shirts. I know people don't understand you, and I know people don't see your vision, but God didn't give the vision to them. He gave it to you. He gave it to you to manifest it, not make it. Oh my God, I can't believe I made it to Sunday. No. It's about what you're doing during the weekend that makes change possible. What you're doing during the weekend that allows people that God is unstoppable. What do you do to rock the Jesus brand? What do you do to show the greatness inside of you? What do you do to manifest greater things for you? What do you do to defy your reality to manifest a greater destiny? It's already inside of you. God will never leave you or forsake you. He wants his countenance to shine upon you, not just on Sunday, but on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday. What? That's what he wants, not just in the church walls and sitting on the pews, but in the boardroom and in the classroom. And then, hey, I talk to a lot of people sometimes when we was on the bus, I see people crying, I give them a big hug, because it's not about the realities. It's about how you respond as opposed to react. Been there, done that. Remember, you're looking at a person who my pretty became poisonous, that I hated it so much, I was just asking God, just let me get sick, let me die, because I grew up Pentecostal, so we can't be killing ourselves. But if I got sick, I can blame God. But God was like, I'm not going to let you blame me for this. It's not about making it, it's about manifesting it. And I'm now sharing my mess as a message to inspire you to get up, to step up, to pick yourself up, to allow yourself to reset the presets in everything you do. This is Tony Moore, Boss Up Radio. I really, really hope, that I've inspired you and encouraged you to understand and appreciate that the greatness inside of you, yes, it resides in you, but it's not supposed to stay there. It's supposed to be manifested through you, for other people, so that you can be the change that God created you to be. You got to do something. You got to stop being a doormat and start being a door. And when you start doing that, you'll manifest greater things. I promise you. You'll live the life you love, no matter what. We'll talk soon.